hypothetically, in the future, assuming both of them like live and like grow, who do you think will be stronger at their peak? Sarada or Himawari? I think this is actually a really interesting one to do right now.
See, the problem is that you can make an argument for either one. So, starting with Sarada, you've got Sasuke's like final conversation, basically. A, protect Sarada, and B, something's going on that only you and Sarada can handle. So it's like pairing those two to solve this great catastrophe. And rather than trying to protect him, like with Himawari, Boruto's trying to save her, Boruto trusts Sarada to save herself. It's just like, hey, please don't die. But he trusts her to do that. And then obviously Sarada's one of the members of Team 7. Like a little bit of a Sarada side of things. Himawari's case, though, what does Two Blue Vortex mean? Assuming the Vortex is related to the Minato manga, that's relating to Uzumaki. Okay, so Himawari then. It's not going to be Sarada. There's no Vortex thing with Sarada unless she's got a Mangekyo Vortex Jutsu that we don't know of. So it's like, okay.
Well, at the end of chapter 1, it says the Vortex of Fate continues spinning forward now, or it's in reference to time or something. But I thought that was interesting. The story of the Vortex continues on once again.
But it's like,
with Himawari, you have the lock-on mode, the unexplained mysterious power that surprised Damon. You have the new Ninetales, which apparently she has a stronger affinity for that than anything. Yeah. You have what, to be fair, this doesn't apply to Himawari, but Toneri, when talking to Urashiki says, "What did you do to that woman's child?" So it's not referencing Naruto, something specific is about Hinata.
But
yeah, and I think like Himawari would inherit the Hyuga genes better than Boruto did. So I think whatever is applying to Boruto there, if Toneri did something there, I think that applies even stronger to Himawari.
Depends
in terms of the Hyuga's child, that woman's child. Yeah. And again, it's like the first time that the two bloodlines have come back together, so we don't know what's going to happen. And she's still young as well. And so coming out of this rage form after Inojin, she's probably going to take her training a lot more seriously. She wants to be a ninja after the end of Omnipotence. So she's, like I said, going to be very dedicated now. She's going to seemingly be working with Kurama, who from the get-go is being friendly with Himawari to some extent and like a tutor, mentor, guide to some degree, it seems like. And that's pretty much all with that. With Sarada, some other things that we didn't mention is the fact that she's probably going to get her Mangekyo, probably internal at some point, maybe even the Rinnegan. We'll see about any of that. We don't know what her Mangekyo does. It was awakened out of love, not out of hatred, so that might scale upwards. She wants to train with Mitsuki to be Otsutsuki tier. She's taking out Hidari right now, and so she should be pretty strong, seemingly. Like you said, like the omnipotence thing. So she's going to be relevant in the future as well.
I mean, realistically speaking, unless Himawari is referenced in that title as Two Blue Vortex, and she's gonna like actually match Boruto, so like you know how like Naruto and Sasuke are the duo that are equal, unless Himawari is gonna be like that with Boruto on his level, which we know Kawaki, at least up until the end of Kawaki anyway, is if Kawaki dies midway, that'll end that part. But Kawaki's probably going to be like that with Boruto as well, for as long as he's around at least. So it kind of depends. Like, I don't really see Sarada being like Sasuke in Naruto with Boruto. Like, I would see Kawaki being that, obviously. And then maybe Himawari because of the Two Blue Vortex thing. If they're both going to be like Sakura, you know, and Kakashi, not the two in the duo, I feel like it's going to be kind of like the same. They'll be like pretty much the same strength, give or take, versus one being overwhelmingly over the other. So I might have to pick Himawari in terms of having greater potential. I think Himawari, who will actually get stronger, it might be Sarada, not because of potential, but because she just works harder and is more relevant. But it's tough to say.
Yeah, Himawari has 2-in-1, whereas Sarada has 1-in-1, so that's like double the growth right there. Himawari might have more chakra quantity in general as well, especially based on one of the translations. The Japanese doesn't make it clear whether the affinities because she has more chakra than Naruto or more quality chakra than Naruto. I don't think Kid Himawari has more chakra than Naruto, but who knows?
No, there's no way.
Yeah, so I think it's like it's affinity, so I don't think the amount of chakra makes any sense at all. Otherwise, Kushina wouldn't have had an affinity. It's because of her chakra in general.
So
chakra
the
type,
way I'm
quality
like
of the
looking
chakra.
at it is it's kind of like the Karma Seal same wavelength thing, to where it doesn't have to be the on the same wavelength thing, but the point is it's just like there's some unknown connection between them that just works, you know. So Himawari and Kurama, they might be on the same wavelength and their chakras just resonate better, whatever the specifics they want to say is. Something along those lines, and it just is the case for regardless of why.
This is completely unfair to ask this right now, considering we have no idea for either character, not even an inkling of where they scale, but current Sarada versus current Himawari, who do you have? And we're gonna give Rage Himawari. But I don't know if it's fair in that case to give Sarada her Mangekyo, because we don't know what it does. You could give her, how about this? We don't give her the Mangekyo ability, but we give her the amp that the Mangekyo would give her. So whatever like speed increase, for example, it automatically passively has. So also taking out the ridiculous stretch, reach, nonsensical scaling that it might be there, like she speed blitzed Hidari, or Himawari is unlimited Baryon mode that's gonna defeat even Jura. So if we remove both of those as possible outliers,
part of this is that
thinking realistically.
So I feel like I can't help but guess what the next chapter will look like, and
yeah,
in Himawari's case, I kind of expect her to kind of like go ham for a bit. It's not going to amount to anything. Like, whether Jura gets tossed around or not, he will be fine at the end. He's not, I really don't expect him to be critically injured and forced to retreat. Okay. If that happens, I'm going to fake drop the series. So, in terms of what I expect, I would say Jura's either just gonna like dodge every attack and just be like, wow, you're crazy, or get tossed around kind of like Orochimaru with Tsunade, but it just doesn't amount to anything. He's just fine, doesn't feel it. With that in mind, I don't expect Sarada to be ragdolling Hidari, a serious Hidari, and I don't expect her to beat him either. And I think that Jura is probably a lot stronger than Hidari based off of what we've seen just overall. I think he's just like, look, we can get into some scaling based off what we've seen, but I feel like Jura's got the speed of Bug, the smarts of Hidari, and the ranged attacks of Monster. Like, I feel like he kind of just, even though he doesn't have the specific jutsu of them, I feel like he has the strengths of all three of them in one. So I think Jura just is on another level. So, all that's to say, if Sarada is just kind of like Himawari, where she's put up a good fight on Hidari, but she can't win, and then same with Himawari to Jura, I feel like I'm picking Himawari. That's obviously assuming Sarada doesn't like just beat Hidari with her Mangekyo abilities or something, but
it's also assuming
Himawari does anything next chapter. But
well, to be fair, the thing is with the Nine Tails, even if Sarada hits her with a Chidori, like we've already seen what happens, she'll just heal it and become even stronger.